Sheetal Bairamadgi, owner and founder of Crikey Games. I'm here to talk about my experience and my learnings running a hyper-casual gaming studio. So without further ado, let's dive in straight into it. So agenda for today's presentation is a bit about myself, going through my company and what we do here at Crikey Games, our journey so far, our success story, and some do's and don'ts that we have learned as a studio and as a team here. And I'd love to take some questions at the end of the presentation. About myself, I've got over 15 years of experience in mobile advertising, so that definitely helped when I started my own gaming studio. My key strength is definitely driving an idea from strategy to execution. And I've built various sales teams across the board, both in ad tech and ad network side. I love making decisions based on data, and maybe that's why I'm so passionate about doing what I do, and especially in hyper casual space, data is what it comes down to at the end of it. And you can see that this is working, that's working, but I usually like the data to speak by itself. I am an advisory board member for a few startups, both here in Sydney and internationally. Running, going back, and when I was running, campaigns, marketing campaigns for other gaming companies, to now running my own gaming studio, building games from scratch, definitely I've seen both sides of the equation, and that definitely helps a lot. I'd love to celebrate and share my wins, and hence the reason why I am here at Hyper Games Conference. About the company. So this is a question that I, get a lot. And it's, what does crikey mean? And crikey is just an Australian slang for the word wow. And, I wanted to keep it something Australian, which is very close to my heart. And in studio, we kind of develop our own games. We develop prototypes, we test, we optimize, we go back in a loop of constantly revising and improving with every prototype that we do. And of course, we specialize in hyper-casual space. And for people who don't know, we are the studio behind the hit game Phone Case DIY, which was published by Crazy Labs last year. So coming to our journey so far. We started, our studio in September of 2019, pre-COVID. We started, the idea of the studio was to develop games and start promoting the games. We started with the word game, and it did pretty well until COVID hit, and we all had to go remote, and then, this was the time when, hyper casual games were trending in the market, and we started shifting into hyper casual games quickly. Started, developing a few games ourselves. Those quick death games were quite very popular at that time. We started testing those kind of games and quickly moved into hyper casual games. And now we only work on hyper casual games. Now coming to our success story, of Phone Case DIY. I wanted to go over the idea, just a bit of, or to rewind ourselves and go back to August of 2020, and go through the process of what we did. And I want to spend more time here because I think it would be very useful for other upcoming studios in hyper-casual space. I want to go through the ideation process of Phone Case DIY. So the original idea of Phone Case DIY came from a YouTube video where the user is actually doing designs for phone cases, and I saw that it was a lot of it's a very, very huge trend in the teenage space, which was our audience, which is what we were targeting, that they want to match their phone cases with the outfit that they're wearing for the day. And that was the idea of the game, saying, hey, why don't we do something around designing phone cases? And that was my one line idea of the concept. And then we started working on our mood board, how does the phone case design work? What are the things that we can work on? What are the steps for designing a phone case? Gluing, drying. Okay, how are we applying the glue? Is it a brush? Is it a tube? How are we drying? Are we drying with a hair dryer, or can we use? So these are the mood boards that we came up with, and of course we were working on content. And as we were getting deeper into the idea and the concept, I think there was no stopping in terms of the content that we could do the game. There was glitters, there was memes, there were stickers. There was plenty of options for us in terms of the design and the content and in terms of depth of the game. So we saw numerous designs, like the tie-dye designs, that was pretty popular at that time of the process. Now, we were a team of 4, and I want to point out in this, we were literally a team of 4 when we started this. And we were all remote thanks to COVID. And this was at the peak of COVID in Australia. Simulation category was definitely trending, and we could see a lot of games in the market in that area. We were very inspired by the hit game Tie-Dye, which was doing really well in the market back then. And that was the inspiration for our game. My specifications and requirements for the game was very, 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 clear in terms of, yes, we need a lot of ad placements. 2 is, what is that wow factor and what is the differentiation point in the game? And to me, at the end of it, the differentiation point was giving the DIY feeling, like not telling the users what to do, but instead giving them all the tools to actually design and get the creativity out of the user. So that was the differentiation point. And content and progression. This was something that we worked for at least a week on how the progression is going to work. And definitely we were not short of content for the game, given the concept was so massive. And this was again discussed in the ideation sessions as well, of which publisher we're going to go ahead with. Because based on that, we wanted to customize our game given their audience, because they will do a lot of cross promotions. What do they specialize in? And so on. So we were a lot of questions that we were going back and forth with, which publisher should we go with, given it's a simulation game, a lot of content, somebody that we can work closely with, somebody who can train us up, because we were a team of 4 and a very young team back then with not a lot of experience in the gaming space. So this was the original video that we had as a concept, and as we discussed, once the ideation sessions were finished, we didn't go into development. We actually did a video of our concept, just so that everybody can visualize it, of what our concept is. And I think this gave us a lot of clarity in that space, saying, okay, this is how we glue, this is how we paint, this is how the patterns will come up. What are the, as you can see, the UI was very basic. What will be the progression, what will be the other things, what will the game look like? And this was, the steps, the quick video that we did just to confirm the concept. Moving on, and I think Crazy Labs, as everybody knows, is the top publisher in the market. I give all credit for the game to them, because they were amazing, and both user acquisition and the support that we received from Crazy Labs was amazing. I can have a whole session on just our relationship with Crazy Labs, and on that on another day and another session. So we went to Crazy Labs, we did a test. We got the CTR, we did a CTR test first, we got approved, and then we went into a CPI test with a minimum. I think there were like 5 levels in the builds. We went in and the CPI, was under 15 cents, was under 20 cents in the first test that we did. And finally we got to the 15-cent mark, which was pretty good at that time. And also then we knew that we had a hit game, good CTR, good CPI. Now we started working on the retention. Something I wanted to stress here, and wanted to mention about Crazy Labs team, is how confident they were on the results. And I think I was amazed to see, and this was our first game we were testing with them, is like they knew that they had a hit game on hand. And I think, given that, I think taking that experience from them was something, worth mentioning, because they have seen so many games. They know a CTR of this will convert to a CPI of this, a CPI of this will mean this to them. So I guess that was something, very quickly did they tell us, yes, saying, guys, we need to work on this and start moving ahead with the prototype and the retention. And, I can tell you that they were not wrong. This is the video that, our team did of how we started and how we ended up with the phone case DIY. So the video on the left-hand side is the CTR video, and the video on the right is actually a marketing video from the game when it was launched. So you can see the right one is so polished and the left one was just a prototype. It's amazing to see the transformation. And again, we had the game launched in December of 2020, peak holiday season. The game was launched and we were all watching the game in the charts. It hits, I think a couple of days we were like #1 game during the launch. We hit the #1 game in 52 countries. We were like in 8 days, we were around 10 million downloads. And imagine a team of 4, sitting there watching reviews, looking at the game itself, of what we can do and what we can, suggest and progress, and how we can build more content to the game. But it was truly amazing, and all credit to Crazy Labs for the amazing user acquisition campaign that they ran for this game. We hit the 50 million download mark in April 2021. And of course, the big milestone of 100 million downloads in October 2020. That was a massive milestone, especially for a small studio like us. I think it takes a lot. Like right now, if we go through it, it's very easy, but going through it was a lot of emotions up and down, looking at the games, looking at other games, and, coming up with a game of 100 million downloads from a team of 4, such a small studio, and Sydney is not a gaming hub here, and it was just a massive achievement and a huge kudos to Crazy Labs for amazing support and the job that they did at for user acquisition. Some of the do's and don'ts that I would love to share with the fellow game developers here. Clear vision of the game. I think having a clear vision for the game is super important, especially at the ideation sessions. When you're coming up with the game concept, is it, first of all, a trend? Do you have an audience for it? Are there other successful games? Are we looking at a certain game for an inspiration? What does the end game look like? Is very, very important. Though, hyper casual games seem to be having a shorter lifespan, it's still pretty important. Plan content and, planning on content and the level progression ahead is super important, because once you pass the CPI test, it's all rush. You need to hurry up and build the retention build. You don't have time for planning then. So if you plan ahead of what the level progression would look like, what the game would look like, after 25, 30 levels, it does help at the end. Having a plan for marketing. This is, super important again, of what the marketing videos would look like. And I think when you're planning a game, having a vision of a marketing video would definitely help. And I, coming from a marketing, experience, I always look from, okay, how is this game going to look to my audience as a video? So that is something, super important for you guys to think about ahead of the game. Decide your gaming publishers. There's plenty of options, plenty of gaming publishers available, plenty of deals available. Decide of who you're going with, and, ask questions about, why they think they can do a good job with your game. Coming to a gaming, a publisher manager at a gaming publishing company, it's super important to have a close relationship with them and ask questions as many as possible, even at early stages of your prototyping or ideation sessions, because they see a lot of ideas and a lot of prototypes on a daily basis. That's their job. So, just brainstorming with them, saying, hey, this is my plan, this is my thoughts, what do you think? They will quickly tell you, saying, hey, we've already tested this game, or we've seen this game, or you can improve on here. I think it's super important to get a publisher manager's feedback early in the stage. And again, be ready to kill the projects. We've killed numerous games ourselves, so that's something that you have to learn. Don't get too attached to any projects. Don'ts. Coming to the don'ts, a lot of people think that we're a huge team, we're a massive team. No, we were a team of 4 and we published a game which did 100 million downloads. So you don't need a big team in hyper casual space. You don't have to, I think the early stages of the game, don't overdo the game. Have the clear video or clear vision of the game in terms of your, what the game is. First of all, is it an ASMR game? Is it, are you testing the user's ability, or are you testing, how quick their reflexes are? Is it a skill-based game? I think these will define your first build, and focus on that. Clean UI, clean mechanics is what you need in your first build. And again, do not hesitate to negotiate your contracts. They're all flexible contracts out there. There's a lot of competition with the gaming publishers as well. So I would definitely recommend go and negotiate your contracts. Again, last but not the least, never ever give up. If you're passionate about the project, keep working. We did it. I hope I can inspire any other gaming studios listening to this presentation. It sounds like a, very easy journey, and, we achieved a lot in a short span of time, but it wasn't easy as it looks. So, again, I would definitely recommend gaming studios to, don't give up, keep iterating, keep testing, keep your audience in mind, and keep producing prototypes. Where are we now in today's world? We are now, we just launched our new game, Spy Runner, which is a simulation plus runner. So we're testing 2 genres in one. So that was launched and doing pretty well so far. We've worked on a lot and in terms of process improvements internally with the team of how we're communicating, how we're doing it, how we do internal communication, and how we do release prototypes, how we release the games, given we are all 100% remote. We started, this is something interesting that, fellow developers should look into, is having a dedicated time and sessions for ideations. We have our Friday evening session and our session dedicated just for ideations and coming up with new games. And I think it's very important to have these ideation sessions. And sometimes you can take a game from your competitor and have a look, what works, what doesn't work, why is this game a hit, what's working, what are their creatives looking like. And I think it gives a good overview of what's going on in the market as well, and you can come up with new ideas. We've published a new game ourselves, given my experience in mobile advertising, Bracelet DIY, which is doing pretty well in the market right now. We've hired a new team, and we're looking into idle arcade games moving forward. So that's the new thing that we're exploring right now, and I've got a full-fledged team for that. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you for your time, and I hope we can inspire many other gaming studios with our presentation. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, thank you so much, Sheetal, for very inspiring speech, and for your cases, and for uncovering what people usually hide. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex. It's good to be here. Hope we can see somebody sometime physically in a conference.
Would be really great. Thank you so much. The first question is not very game related, but still, do you plan to bring a possibility to order a physical phone case with the help, I don't know, of Amazon or other platforms? So the one I've made in a game I can receive and wear on my phone.
No.
I believe there could be some audience for that. Okay, back to video games. You have a pretty unusual name. Where is it from?
So I'm basically from India.
I didn't want. I didn't meant you personal, but your studio. Of course, your personal name is Indian. It's easy to see, but your studio, it's pretty unusual word. What does it mean?
So it's called Crikey Games. So Crikey is an Australian slang for the word wow. So that's what it
Oh,
is.
really?
Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
and it's an expression for a surprise or a.
Oh, very good. So, okay, then it's clear. Good. We have some questions from audience. Do you think having professional marketing knowledge before you started your company was very important or necessary?
Definitely. I think that was very, very crucial because, even today, like some of the ideation sessions, I'm already talking, they talk about the concept and I'm talking about, oh, that could be a rewarded video, or that could be, that's where the ad could be placed, or, like it, because I do come from the marketing background. I know, I'm looking from the audience perspective, I'm looking from an ads perspective of where the ad should be placed and so on. So that definitely helps. And I guess the to start, my vision for starting the studio was that to see what happens on the other side of the business, before the game gets to the store.
Cool. Thank you so much. Okay, Sheetal, I would appreciate if you can tell a couple of words more about the ideation process. You have mentioned you have it on a regular basis, but
Yeah.
how do you make your team being creative by schedule? What do you do?
So what we do is during the week we do have a Slack channel where we throw out all the games that we see as, or we play, or we see in the store, or which is charting. So we just throw all it's like a dumping channel for us. And every Friday, the game designer at our studio takes the initiative. He starts it and he's like, okay, this week we're talking about this game, and we talk about, so everybody on the chat now downloads the game before the Friday evening session. It's a very casual session. You can have drinks, you can have dinner while we're chatting. Um, and the session talks about that particular game. And we're all downloading, playing the game as we're talking, right? And sort of we take the game of why this game is important, and the whole team is there. It's not just the game designer and myself. It's the whole team, developers, artists, everybody is in the ideation sessions. And we're talking about, okay, what does the artwork look like? Can we get inspiration from this game and get to the new game? What does the videos look like? We go to YouTube, look for the marketing videos that they're running. Then we go over its artwork, its mechanics that they're working on. Why is it working? What are they looking like? And there's a lot of input that one I don't believe in like a one person team. We get ideas from a developer, we get ideas from artists saying, hey, actually I saw this game yesterday, should we do this of that version? So you can always get that inspiration, and it doesn't need to. Now I believe that the idea need not come from a game designer, it can come from anybody from the team.
Very cool, very democratic. Thank you so much. The next question. Great presentation. Yeah, comment in chat. Do you think finding a theme that can be appealing to mass audience like phone case can help reach such success?
Yes, definitely. I think that was definitely the idea of the game, of targeting very young audience in the game, especially the teenagers, females, and that was the trend back then. And we got inspired by the game Tie Dye by Crazy Labs. And as we progressed in the game, I think we could see that even older females were playing the game because it became a more creative game for them. Like more a coloring game for them, which is more de-stressing, a relaxing kind of game where they can show their creativity. And I think that was not originally planned, but as we progressed, we definitely had that in mind, and we kind of changed a few things in the game.
Thank you so much. You mentioned your marketing background and that you study audience before creating a product. Could you please tell a couple of words more about the instruments you use to research or study your audience? How do you do that?
Definitely the audience is, once you decide which genre you're going with, like if it's a runner or a simulation game, we go down to, okay, who's the gender, which gender we're talking about. And then we go back to, okay, age group as well. And I think you can drill down to like an age group as well, saying, okay, you're looking from anywhere from 10 to 25. We've done that numerous times. And even with the phone case, I have an 8-year-old daughter who actually played the game, and she loved it. Like, we can have like a, mini focus groups as well. You call a few people, give them the game and ask them to play and get their advice. And that could be a good idea. Saying, I didn't expect an 8-year-old to be playing a phone case game, because it was more for teenagers, but it was definitely a very addictive game. So you kind of get that idea. And in terms of tools, we use App Annie, Sensator. Those are the tools that we use. And of course, there's a lot of information available around our competitor games as well, so you can see where they're trending, where the traffic is coming from, and so.
Thank you so much. So you use statistics platform, and you even do user testing, inviting people to play your prototype.
Yes.
Where do you take that people from?
It's just as the neighbors and friends of friends. They all know that I do mobile games, and we're kind of a very friendly neighborhood here around. I've got a lot of friends from my daughter as well, so they all come around.
Very good, very good. Okay, thank you so much. Let me check the more questions we have. Okay, thank you for your speech. Do you see any new genres mechanics to appear as more female play games? As you said, phone case DIY attracted much female players.
Yes, I think definitely around fashion is what I can see a trend going on. Like, it doesn't fade away. Like, you have a huge game called Project Makeover, but you still have so many other games still doing very well in terms of the fashion genre. And I think that's something that it could be very attractive, and you can be very, very creative around that particular concept. If you see the Voodoo's game, Fashion Universe is also around fashion. Outfit makeover from Supersonic is another example. How creative are they with their creatives, and with their mechanics and so on. It's the same game but done a different way, and I think that's a perfect example.
Thank you. Maybe during your research and testing sessions and studying the market, you've learned some difference in perception between men and women. Is something meaningful you can stress?
Definitely, I think because we were not into runners or anything, so we were not male focused from the beginning. We were always focused on female driven games. And I think that was definitely a trend. I think that we need to focus in the ideation sessions of you select a genre. You either select a genre which are more male focused. You have the runners, you have the shooters. You go more on the male audience, or you go this path where it's more female driven, and make the game accordingly as well. We did find that the colors do matter for females. They like more bright colors, especially younger audience, like from 8 to 15. They like those bright colors. They like that excitement. They like the satisfying feeling in the game. So I think the gratification and all those are very, very important for females rather than male.
Thank you so much. Very interesting, extremely interesting. More questions. Can you talk a little bit more about the video ads for the game? I'm a video producer, so how can I help my team with my videos?
First thing is reach out to me, because we are looking for a video producer internally in the studio. So please, I think we can see how we can work together. So just promoting my studio there. But definitely in terms of videos, right? When we did the CTR videos and when we did the initial videos for phone case, we were looking for more around gratification. What is the core mechanic? It is about designing phone cases, and within 5 seconds of the video you need to show that. Forget about the UI, forget about everything else. And I think you need to imagine where this game is running. And we knew that Crazy Labs was running on Facebook. So now we imagine a Facebook environment. Okay, you have a busy news feed. How does this ad stand out? And I think that's where you start with. And then design the game. Who are you targeting? What audience? And I think these are a lot of questions that internally my team asks me before they even start on the video, and that's very, very important. The creatives, to me, creatives is what matters. The higher the CTR, the lower the CPI will be.
Thank you so much, Sheetal. Absolutely amazing answers to questions and amazing presentation.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you for sharing with us. We do appreciate a lot.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.